Map Dad here. So recently, I was in the Midwest for my college reunion. I'm a proud Northwestern Wildcat and had not been back to campus in 5 years. So I took it as an opportunity to also spend a day in one of my favorite cities, Chicago. I flew in early one morning, rented a car, and drove down to Millennium Park, where I walked over to my favorite museum, I think, on the planet, the Art Institute of Chicago. It's just an embarrassment of riches. On top of its outstanding collection, with many pieces art lovers recognize instantly, there was an Andy Warhol exhibit, which I gladly paid the extra fee for. If you're sightseeing for more than a day, look into the Chicago City Pass. You can pick 5 top attractions for about $100. And you can also get on a fast pass lane here at the Art Institute. I waited almost half an hour just to get my ticket. From the museum, I started the walk up Michigan Avenue back to Millennium Park to see the Cloudgate sculpture, which a lot of people know as the Bean. I had lunch at the Park Grill below it, which was okay, nothing great. I continued the walk up Michigan Avenue, finding the Tribune building being turned into condos, and eventually ending up at the John Hancock Tower. A trip up to Chicago 360, the observation deck, provides some unbelievable views of the city. The elevator ride's about $22. And then I spent the extra $8 to take on the tilt, where at 1,000 feet up you're tilted over the edge. I'm actually sweating just thinking about it. Now, if you're a thrill seeker, it's kind of fun. You get rocked over the edge 3 times looking straight down at the traffic. Now, by the 3rd time, though, I was done. Then it was up to Northwestern, which is in the suburb of Evanston. That sits right on top of Chicago. I stayed at the Hilton Orrington. That was considered the fancy hotel when I was a student. The rooms are fine. The Farmhouse restaurant's a great place for both breakfast and lunch. And when it isn't homecoming weekend, you can find rates in the $125, $150 range. Homecoming weekend will cost you about double. Now, it was great seeing old friends and checking out the old dorms and the old fraternity house. I thought to myself, I lived there for 2 years. I don't recall it being in the shape that it was. Now, the stale beer smell downstairs was familiar, but we at least cleaned the trash up in the halls each week. Different standards, I suppose, for the 20-year-old and then the father of 2. A friend whose son is an equipment manager for the football team took us into the new practice facility along Lake Michigan. Very impressive, much more impressive than the homecoming game, which was a reminder of the games from back when I was a student. As for other places in Evanston, thumbs up for the Whiskey Thief Tavern for both food and drinks. And while I was disappointed they didn't have my chicken teriyaki sandwich anymore, Buffalo Joe's cheddar fries do not disappoint. Same guy behind the grill from the 1980s. Speaking of food, I do love Chicago deep dish pizza, but I didn't make a trip to either Lou Malnati's, Giordano's, or Gino's East. I had a small deep dish at the airport on the way home. That was a mistake. Get the real stuff if you're in the Windy City. I'm Map Dad, helping point your travel in the right direction.